Welcome back to Crypto Comics, all you beautiful people in Webtown, for another exciting installment of Rob Liefeld Appreciation Season. This is Blindside from August of 1996. This was created by Marat Mychaels from Kiev, Russia, one of the participants of the Extreme Studios talent search and a man who ended up having a nice little career in comic books. This was created, plotted, and penciled by Marat with a script by Bob Fleming. And this is actually good. This was actually good. I'll go ahead and give you the take on it here. Uh-oh, I've heard of baptism by fire, but this is ridiculous. How do I get myself into these things? I guess it started when I was a little kid, playing my favorite game with my mother, I Spy with My Little Eye. That game was training and observation for a secret agent, Mom. But it suddenly occurs to me that I also could have benefited from a few rounds of hot potato. This is where my whole life is supposed to flash before my eyes, except that the fireball is bearing down so fast that I only have time for the past week. Ugh. It's got this red contact lens he's putting in. And I do want to mention that Blindside is previewed in the Asylum anthology book that we covered previously here on Crypto Comics. And that's where this first issue came from. But I do not believe that this is, I don't believe these pages were part of Asylum. I think that was an original story in the Asylum series. As top agent of the Orion sector, I'd been trained to endure the most brutal forms of torture, but touching my own eyeballs really gave me the creeps. Still, Mickey would be glad to hear his new night vision contact lenses worked like a charm. I spy with my little eye. The bad guys. I said I wanted to see the device tested here and now. Did I stutter?
No, Mr. Quinn, but there are scientific procedures to be followed. It's too soon to...
I'm going to say this one more time. To save Rocco the distasteful task of plucking out your eyes, Professor. Test that silly-looking piece of junk now.
Okay.
Like any good businessman, I need a solid return on every investment. You may use Rocco as a guinea pig, which is only fair, since he'll be doing the same to you if your device fails to satisfy.
It's real tight, boss. And there's some kind of gizmos holding my eyes wide open.
It needs to be tight so you won't move, Rocco. Microscopic laser beams must enter the pupils with absolute precision in order to read and copy your own unique DNA strand.
Yeah, but you said the beams be harmless, right, boss? Like the scanner at the supermarket checkout. So how come I feel like there's snakes crawling out of my skull? Medusa! Medusa!
You still alive, boss, but completely paralyzed. I paid you $3 million for this.
No, please, I'm so close to a breakthrough.
Too late, Professor. I'm cutting off your funding and your oxygen. Looks like it's time for the cavalry to charge to the rescue. General Custer, I presume? Dang. Hey, boss, there's some kid snooping around up here. And you know what he said when I got the drop on him? Dang. Oh, sure. Knock a guy because of his good upbringing. Granted, my life may be in danger, but at least I'm not going to have my mouth washed out with soap. This kid slays me, boss. Well, okay, if you insist. But don't tell my mother, or it's the woodshed for sure. Ah! Throws him over, right? Hey, wait for me. Spread out your arms and legs and use wind resistance to break your fall. I'm trying. The stupid kid jumped. He must have panicked. He'll never survive that drop. Shoot him anyway. But Frankie's right in the line of fire, boss. Question, big guy. Are you wearing a bulletproof vest? No, I ain't. Then you are the bulletproof vest. Splat, splat, splat. Blam, blam, blam. Buddha, Buddha, pow, pow. And what do you know? He also doubles as a handy-dandy battering ram. He's two corpses in one. Wow. I really like this page. Isn't that fun? And I barely broke a sweat. How about if I break your skull? You're cocky, but talented. Orion sector material, no doubt. Well, now you're going to sing for me, boy. And I assure you, it will be your last performance. This is really weird. This line is also right here, and I assure you it will be your last performance. I don't know. They had some sort of technical error there. I'll be glad to tell you what I know. First, you're Ronald Quinn, the famous real estate tycoon. Second, your financial empire has been quietly crumbling for several years, and you're desperate for cash to prop it back up. Third, you've been smuggling drugs and computer chips into the country to try to raise the cash. And fourth, you got a big hunk of spinach caught between your teeth. Spinach. Hold him tight, men. I'm gonna blow this brat's brains out with his own gun. You didn't let me finish, Quinn. I was about to tell you what no one else will. Turtlenecks are out and V-necks are in. Oh, you're finished, all right. Professor, this is how I deal with those who disappoint me. No, wait a minute. I have a better idea. I'll kill you instead. Blam! And let the little spy take the rap for it. I won't sit still for that. Oh, yes, you will. And I put the helmet on him. Very still. It was like Rocco said, the feeling that snakes were crawling out of your skull, and the sight of a face, ugly beyond description, from ancient mythology. Ah! One look could turn a man to stone, and the helmet forced my gaze. Then finally, merciful darkness. 18.2. 36.8, 12.07, 3.6, 5.12, 2.95, 8.46, 9.95. And he's still reciting numbers. Still only willing to give me name, rank, and serial number, eh? You're an Orion sector agent, all right. Too bad for you, it's the last thing you'll ever be able to say. You hold that pose while we get out of here and call the police. And the scientist is 4.17.
13.2, 6, 4.75, 13.2, 6.01, 11.8, genetic code, success.
Like I said before, Mickey's night vision contact lenses worked like a charm. What? When I woke up back in Kansas, Auntie M, Ricky? It's Uncle Bud, boy. Hey, Rick. We've been worried about you, kid. Be careful what you say, all of you, until we've had a chance to question him. Oh, my head. It's Gabe's bachelor party all over again. But I guess it beats total paralysis hands down. Get it? Hands down? Paralysis? Ricky, what do you mean? You know, it's when you lose your freedom of movement. Sort of like being handcuffed to your bed, which he is. I'm sorry, Rick. We can dispense with those now. The only thing I left out was the part about the spinach. Didn't seem relevant. Oh, come on, you guys have known me since I was a little kid. You can't believe I'd shoot an innocent guy in cold blood. I'm telling you, it was Quinn. Quinn's got an airtight alibi, kid. He was with the cardinal all afternoon, discussing the plans for the new cathedral he's building for the church. And we weren't able to pull any other prints from your gun, Ricky. Just your own. No crazy helmet to be found. And no paralyzed goon by the name of Rocco. Just one stiff with a bullet from your weapon inside his brain. I'd like to be alone now, please. Okay, Ricky. You try to think of anything you may have forgotten. Anything that might help us clear you. And Ricky, you're not alone. Bud raised me after my father died. I love this shot. This is very reminiscent of Sin City, in my opinion. They were in the OSS, together during the war. The Office of Strategic Services, it was called then. The Orion sector was the domestic branch that splintered off during the Cold War and remains secret to this day. I knew too much to be publicly prosecuted, so trial and incarceration was out of the question. I'd just vanish without a trace. I never saw myself as a hero, but I thought I might have the chance one day to give my life for my country, like my father did, all at once, or like my uncle had, over a 40-year career. But not like this. Not for nothing. I was no hero, but I'd be damned if they were going to turn me into a victim. But first, I had to find a way to clear myself of a murder charge. Quinn is the key. If I could only get out of here and... Oh, my brain, it's on fire. What's happening to me? It was as if the wall just dissolved, right before my eyes. Everything went black, except for 3 large shapes, like ghosts glowing in the dark. No, I must be having some kind of attack. Maybe it's the side effect of the drugs they're giving me, combined with shock from what I experienced. I just won't look. What I don't see can't hurt me. And then the doorknob began to turn. Ooh, his eyes are red. The contact lenses. What?
He's onto us. I told you we were too noisy. Nobody could have heard us coming. The kid's just so experienced, he's got eyes in the back of his head.
Hey, don't you guys know visiting hours are over? And, there's a big fight here, and they're just like... And Ricky, of course he gets the drop on him because he's a badass. I want to know who sent you, and how you got past the Orion Sector agents who were guarding my room. What are you, kidding? We are Orion Sector. You might as well give it up right now, kid. You've been terminated. I don't believe you. You're lying. But I could see right through his skull to the crackling electrical impulses moving through his brain. And somehow I knew he was telling the truth. And through the walls, I saw 7 more agents running toward my room. Squee! All I could think of was Uncle Bud, who would never have stood by and watched me take the fall for something like this. Here's my message to Orion Sector, boys. They don't take me down. I take them down. Case in point. Boom! And he just shoots this dude and he falls back. You got the supervisor! The rest of you stay back out of range. Hell, the fall will kill him anyway. He just throws himself right out the window. He just rolls himself out the window. I nailed 3 more of them on the way down. Blam, blam, blam! While saying 7 more Hail Marys, making my peace with God, and getting used to infrared vision. Whoa. And please, God, if I come back in another life, let it be to a world with a more classical style of architecture, where the buildings have lots of flagpoles, because, he would grab one, but instead he just crashes into this car. Whew! Either Detroit isn't building them like they used to, or that wacky Medusa helmet really did turn me to stone. Pow, pow, pow. Huh? Still, I don't think I'm ready to try bouncing bullets off my chest just yet. On a standard OS hit, the target is covered from at least 12 different angles. And the only way to be sure somebody's not OS is to see whether they're caught in the crossfire, which means there aren't any OS agents in this truck, because we've been highly trained never to hit each other, unless it's on purpose. Is this Niobe's bike? Is this that same bike from my favorite comic book, Niobe, by Larry Patrick Higgins? Or is this that bike from the Wolverine prequel to the X-Men movie that we've talked about in the past? Or is it Akira's bike? This is the original version of Akira's bike before it became futuristic. This is the present-day bike. It's no good running from OS agents. We're all too skilled in the game of cat and mouse. So, he's just like zipping away, and he's going to get away, and there's a big crack-a-boom. And he's running and running and running and running and running, because he wants to live. That was about the time my best friend, Dave Campbell, a TV reporter, was arriving at my hospital room. Oh boy, Richard, what have you gotten yourself into this time? Well, that was lucky. TV set made it through without a scratch. You'd think the Orion Sector would know by now that TV is their worst enemy. Dave was wrong. The OS had just made a new enemy, one more dangerous than they could have imagined. I always obeyed orders, never questioned authority or bucked the chain of command, and this is how they repay me? If they would do this to one of their own, then they can't be trusted to protect the values this country stands for. I've been granted the power to stop them, to weed out the corruption, and restore what my father died defending. It's my duty, my responsibility, and it will be my pleasure. I never saw myself as a hero, but I look at things differently now, because I've got awesome red eyes. Next, the uniform. Sadly, there would be no next. This issue of Blindside is the only issue of Blindside to be made by Image Comics. Years later, Marat Mychaels did bring this character back for a small independent company, and again, it was only a single issue. But the story of it is interesting, and I will try to read it like Marat Mychaels would. Yeah, welcome to the first issue of Blindside. Thanks. Thanks for what? Well, for picking up this book. You, as a reader, have many choices each week, and I appreciate the fact that you chose this book. I'm pretty sure you weren't disappointed, but if you were, write me.
Let me know what I can do to make this book better. Well, with that out of the way, the thing I'd like to do most is thank the people that made this book possible. Yeah, I know, everybody does it, but it's my moment, so deal with it. Just kidding. First and foremost, Rob Liefeld, who has given me an opportunity to produce this book. You have been a great friend as a boss. Thanks. I'd also like to thank my family, Alexi, Laura, and Michelle, and all of my great friends, Dave, Brian, TikTok, Smitty, Linda, Dietrich, and Jim. Your belief and support will never be forgotten. Thank you. Okay, now for Blindside. Well, that's a character who has grown up with me. Blindside was created 10 years ago when I was 14 years old, and has had many variations since then. One thing has remained constant. He has always been my favorite creation. I passed up a couple of opportunities to work on Blindside before, simply because I didn't think I could produce the kind of story I felt he deserved till now. I'm pretty happy with the way this book has turned out, and I think by the time this miniseries is over, you, the readers, will be happy you invested your time and money into it. Once again, thanks for your support. Marat. Oops, how could I forget to thank everyone, and he does. The Blindside number 2, betrayed by those closest to him, hunted by every covert agency on the face of the planet, disavowed Agent Kemp is alone. Secrets he possesses could destroy them all. Blindside number 2, not coming out anytime soon. Though I kind of wish it did, because I actually enjoyed this. Is it a little bit like Daredevil? Yeah, it's a little bit like Daredevil, but I thought the origin was very original, very different, and it's unique from Daredevil. He's not a blind guy. He's just a guy that has night vision. And that's cool. That's different. That's okay with me. I have fun reading this. It was a lot more fun than Law and Order, the other comic book Marat Mychaels put out. That was through Maximum Press. You can watch that review here in the playlist at Crypto Comics. This has been Blindside, and I thought it was fun. It's an interesting little moment. Another one of these books that Robert Liefeld is responsible for publishing and helping get out into the world. A young man's dreams achieved. Marat Mychaels created this when he was 14. A decade later, it becomes a reality. How about that? And I think Rob's really cool for helping a lot of other creators get their visions into print, even if it was for only a single issue like this. And our journey through Rob Liefeld's Extreme Studios, part of Image Comics, is about to come to a close. We've talked about Extreme Studios, we have talked about Maximum Press, and we are inching our way closer and closer to the next evolution in Rob Liefeld's career. First, we have to see his return to Marvel within the pages of Captain America for Heroes Reborn, and then we are going to take a massive journey into the third publishing company Rob Liefeld was responsible for creating, Awesome Entertainment. And that is what I am most looking forward to in Rob Liefeld Appreciation Season. So please stick around Crypto Comics as we continue this incredible trip through the career of Rob Liefeld. If you like this video, please share it with your friends. Let them know how much fun we're having at Crypto Comics. If you really liked it, hit that thumbs up. If you're new, subscribe, hit the ding dong for notifications. And then, please pick up your smartphone and just go ahead and thumb your way over to megawattcomic.com and support my comic book, Megawatt versus the Vampires of the Sun, now in its final days as a campaign on Kickstarter. I need your help. It's not going to make it without you. Bottom line, it's not going to make it. Crypto's going to have a very, very sad Christmas without you allowing me to create a totally awesome comic book for you. But no matter what happens, we're going to keep on keeping on right here at Crypto Comics. And I look forward to talking to all of you about another totally awesome Rob Liefeld comic book tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Peace.